everyone, this is Kevin Richards from Rock to Stage NYC here on YouTube and rpmvocalstudio.com on the web for vocal lessons. Today's little mini lesson is going to be on something called mini or micro breaths. Basically what this is be able to take these tiny little short inhales between those pauses in your phrasing when you sing songs. Now when we vocalize and stuff, you know, there's a little bit of time, you know, if you do yeah, bang, bang, yeah, you've got that little time right there to take a nice breath out, nice breath in. Normally though in songs you've got like that to take a breath between phrases. So I'm going to show you how to do those tiny little breaths in between. I'm going to sing a little phrase here, and I'm not going to make it obvious where I'm doing the breath. Then I'll go back and show you and see if you caught it the first time around. Let me get a reference. There we go. Here we go. Mama, ooh, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, as if nothing really matters. Did you catch the breath? Now in between those tiny little phrases right there, you've only got that long to really take a breath. So you've really got to kind of go from that very first big breath you took right before the line, then add these little breaths to keep going. Basically what you're doing is, when you sing that tiny little phrase, you're letting out a little bit of air. So what you want to do is you want to it back in. So you're basically going to or that kind of thing, or through your mouth. Really quick, these little quick, sometimes often referred to as the surprise breath, you know, that kind of thing. But we don't want to make it really obvious like I just did. Now I'm going to sing the phrase again, and I'm going to do this when I take a breath. Here we go. Mama! If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, as if nothing really matters. Now if you noticed, I didn't take a huge breath before I started singing. I went right from my speaking right into the phrase. I didn't stop and go, because when you breathe in normally, your lungs expand all the way out, and then you kind of breathe extra on top of that. Now I was already talking and then went into the phrase. So I was working on air that I'd already expelled. I was working with not really a full tank of gas, but those tiny little micro breaths in between the phrases I did later on helped me replenish everything I was using. So I never really fully ran out of air. That is the secret to being able to sing phrases and not lose your breath. A lot of singers, when they go to sing songs, either breathe too little, wait too long to breathe again, or breathe too many times. Now sing the phrase again, and I'll show you what I mean by taking too long to breathe, and you'll hear the difference in the quality of the sound, right? So I'll go, Mama, ooh, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again tomorrow, carry on, as if nothing really matters. Now someone like me who has a very, very strong diaphragm and has very good support can get away with only taking 2 breaths there. I took 2 breaths in the middle of that, and not the 4 or 5 that I did the first time. The 4 or 5 are the correct way. Now if I do too many, you'll see how bad that sounds. Mama, ooh, didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, as if nothing really matters. You have a hurried sense to it because you're trying to get to that next breath by stretching it out, finding your medium. Now there is no sort of there's no set rule to this. It depends on the song. It's song dependent. It depends on the song, and it depends on how good you are at breath support. Now I can sing that most of all that phrase on one breath if I wanted to, but I peppered it with a couple of phrases in between so I don't fully feel like I'm running out of a lot of air. So for you as a singer, that's you, gauge when you're going through your songs, find your, what I call breath points, or that little pause in the song where you can take a quick breath and where you take long ones. And I generally do that when I get my lyric sheet, print it out, and I put a short little dash right where I do a sniff, and I do a longer dash where I can do a full relaxed breath. And that's usually at the end of one sentence and the beginning of another, or in between like the verse and the bridge, or the bridge and the chorus, things like that. There's a little bit of musical interlude, maybe you have a full bar or something like that you can sing. You can kind of relax and replenish, and then breathe in right before the phrase, and then do your little micro breaths along the way till the end of the phrase. Take a good breath in and do it again. Repeat the process. So it's all song dependent, so go through your songs. If you're having trouble and you feel like you're maybe running out of breath as you're singing your songs, go back in and see if you can find your breath points. The good thing too is listen to the singer on the track, if it's a cover tune, and try to hear where you can hear them pausing to breathe. Now if it's an original thing, go back and see if you maybe can sing a couple of little lines together with one breath and see if that sounds better. If not, break it up into a couple of little micro breaths. Play around with it, see what you can do with it. Work it into your training. Till next time, this is Kevin Richards from Rock the Stage NYC here on YouTube and rpmvocalstudio.com. Don't forget to subscribe, use that cool little button right there. Till next time, see ya.